Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be going over the 5 best reliable gold farms right now. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so today we're going to be going over the 5 best reliable gold farms. These farms are catered towards efficiency and also going towards if you're actually going to get that decent amount of gold per hour, which ones can you actually pick and just go ahead and do and not really think all that much about it. You know you're going to get a decent return on it, so the market doesn't fluctuate too much in the grand scheme of things. So that being said, let's move into number 1, which is Vigils Torch. Now this one is a current content one, and this one is located within Addons. The thing of note for this particular farm is you may come in contact with some aggressive type mobs. What I'd recommend is actually being in a tank spec, so if you are a druid you're going to be wanting to be in guardian spec so you don't get dazed. The thing of note that I would actually recommend is be in travel form when you're actually doing this farm and be in guardian spec, and you shouldn't have that much of a problem when doing this. The next thing of note that I would actually recommend for this particular farm is to make sure that you have the enchant of Shadowlands Gathering. This will speed up your gathering speed, so if you pull a load of the aggressive type mobs and they start trying to attack you when you're trying to herb, that is very annoying because you have to stop and start attacking them. What I've found is when you're actually using the Shadowlands Gathering enchant on your gloves, then it will actually pick it really fast that the mobs don't have time to attack you, and then you could run off to the next herb. So I find that that is very helpful in the grand scheme of things. A thing of note for this particular farm is I would recommend either being a druid or also having the sky golem. These will make it easier so you don't have to dismount when you are picking your herbs, and overall a lot of you guys will probably know all about this, but I'm putting this in here just for people that don't actually know. Aside from that, I find that this is a very good farm in order to do, and as it's current content at this moment in time, it's definitely something to start doing because you'll typically sell all of those Vigils Torch within the day or a couple of days. So that is very reliable right there because it is current content. That being said, let's move into number 2, which is Saronite and Titanium Ore. Now, Titanium Ore farm is located within Wintergrasp, so this will be located in Northrend. And what you're going to be wanting to do in the PvP zone is you'll be wanting to fly around the area and mining all of that stuff. So this will require you to have a miner. For this particular farm, I would only state being a druid is your best bet to do it in an optimal fashion. So that being said, if you don't have a druid, then be prepared to be dismounted and using your ground mount. However, there is a way in order to circumvent this, as this is a PvP zone. You will get dismounted if you zone in and out of different regions inside of Wintergrasp. What I typically like to do is to dismount while I'm flying around and then remount. This is very much easy when it comes towards being a druid, because you can just do that in mid-flight and then you can just dismount, remount, and then you're flying away. I don't find that this is much of a problem, but overall for the gold per hour for it, it's usually typically quite high, so I find that this is definitely worth the little inconvenience of having to dismount and remount every now and then. Other things of note for this particular farm, I would highly recommend using the Dark Moon Firewater. This can be purchased off the auction house for a couple of gold, and this is definitely worth your time as it will speed up your mining process. And following the route for this actual farm, then you'll find all of these farms located within the Discord. Aside from all of that, that is pretty much everything for this farm. It's a very reliable farm, so let's move on to number 3. For number 3 is another current content farm, but this one will be diving into mining. What you'll be wanting to do is farming up Oxian Ore, and this can be farmed up within Maldraxxus. Once again, I would highly recommend using the enchant for Shadowlands Gathering, as this will speed up your mining process, and using the route, you're most likely going to get attacked by a load of those wild boar things. So I would highly recommend using that enchant because it really does help in the grand scheme of things. Things of note for this actual farm is you will want to be on a druid for your travel form to make it a lot easier for you. Unfortunately, Sky Golem won't work for you on this one, as mining will just dismount you and phase you out of your polymorph phase. So if I'm in my travel form, I'll be taken out for that. So that's something I have to take into account moving forward. But overall, The thing of note for this one is it's a relatively simple farm, as it's usually in a loop-S fashion, and it doesn't really take you all that long to do a complete lap of the entire area. I find that this is one of the most easiest farms in order to do, as well as one of the most reliable, as Oxian Ore usually sells for a decent amount of gold. It's current content, so it sells fast, and the route is completely simplistic, so you don't really need to think, you just need to do. So that being said, that is the Oxian Ore farm at number 3. So let's move into number 4. Which, coming in at number 4, is the Whiptail and Pyrite Ore multi-farm. Now, usually these farms on their own typically sell for a decent amount of gold overall, but you can use this as a multi-farm in order to gather up more gold per hour for your time, for the same amount of time to be more precise. Now, aside from all of that, what you're going to be wanting to do is go to the old school version of Addons, and then she'll phase you in and out of the actual old zone from Nazoth, and then go back to the old way. What you're going to be wanting to do is follow the route and go down the river, up the river, and then go across the top of the map. This is a very easy farm in order to do, and I find that this is typically one of my most go-tos because it's so easy in order to do, and there's hardly ever any competition when you're doing this farm. This is great if you are wanting to make a decent chunk of gold for not that much competition. They sell relatively fast, as Pyrite Ore and also Whiptail sells relatively fast in the grand scheme of things, because it's used in a lot of different crafts, i.e. Vial of the Sands, Potion of Treasure Finding. You get my point. They sell really fast in the grand scheme of old school maps. This is why I find that they're very good for being a reliable farm, as well as they sell for a very strong gold per hour as well. That being said, what I would recommend for this one is to have the Dark Moon Firewater, and yes, you can use a Sky Golem for this one, as well as being a Druid are my key ones that I would recommend you do for this farm, as it will speed up your herbalism overall, and then when you get to your mining, you're obviously going to have to remount, but you'll be farming up more herbs than ore in the grand scheme of things for this actual farm. So therefore, let's move into our last and final one at number 5, which is Dreamleaf. Now, Dreamleaf is a great farm. Now, usually you would want to farm this up in the open world, as you've always got herbs around. Now, if you guys want to actually do the most optimal farm for your time, then this is definitely the Dark Heart Thicket farm. This will take you roughly around about 30 minutes in order to do, and what you're going to be wanting to do is go over to Val'sharah, head over to the dungeon, and then go in and run past the first boss. What you'll find after them moving up to the second boss is a load of vile lashers. Once you actually kill them, you are able to herbalism those lashers in order to get a load of Dreamleaf. Typically, you'll get more Dreamleaf for this actual farm than you would open world farming, for half the amount of time that you would invest. So overall, I find that this is a great way in order to make a hefty amount of gold for half the time you would out in the open world. However, once you've actually done this farm for 30 minutes, you've run out and reset the instance 10 times because your instance locked at 10. You can do open world farming as well to make up for the hour and get even more Dreamleaf. If you wanted to optimize it, then I would definitely just do the Dark Heart Thicket farm, then go do something else while you're doing that. But overall, Dreamleaf sells really well, as it's used in a load of the glyphs for inscription, and they sell really fast in the grand scheme of things, especially when it's an old world content now. So therefore, my last recommendation is having a druid for your Dreamwalk ability and also your travel form, and also a buff, which is the Dark Moon Firewater, to increase your herbalism, to just make it a lot easier and faster to get this done, and then you can get yourself locked and then go do something else while you're waiting for the instance to unlock. Therefore, that is pretty much everything I have to say for the 5 best reliable farms, and aside from that, have a wonderful rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be soon. If you want to support the channel and help make the channel even better, then why not check out the Patreon. Members get additional info, gold making resources, and Patreon specific content. The link is located in the description down below. Thank you and have an awesome day.